That down. Let's move on and talk about this, shall we? You guys might remember a number of months, maybe about a year ago, there were some whispers going around about maybe a Kumail Nanjiani as Booster Gold. That kind of came and went. But in the last week or so, those rumors have been bubbling back up again.
I love rumors.
As a number of, scoopers or whatever are actually coming out and saying, oh, he's getting cast as it. And then something happened that has just kind of gotten the fiery discussion about it going even more. The folks over at Comic Book Movie wrote this: Booster Gold speculation once again mounts as the Eternal star Kumail Nanjiani that has joined the DCU. It says this last month we learned that DC Studios has tapped Our Flag Means Death creator David Jenkins to write Booster Gold's pilot, which got everybody excited about that. If co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran are happy with his take on the time-traveling superhero, Jenkins will eventually serve as the showrunner. Booster Gold was announced at the start of 2023 as a part of the DCU's Chapter 1, while rumors have swirled that Eternal star Kumail Nanjiani is being lined up to play the title character. Now, here's the thing. Nexus Point News, they've gotten some things right, gotten some things wrong, but they've gotten some things right. They wrote on their social media, it's happening. But this picture is what's getting a lot of people talking. This was at the Peacemaker Season 2 debut, in which they invited Kumail Nanjiani, who was there, and they got him and James Gunn together. And all that stuff, which just has only fueled it more with other people coming out and saying they believe this is happening and all this kind of stuff. All right. Let's start off by saying that I have no direct information on my end. Sometimes these stories come up and I'll go, I have heard from somebody. But
yeah.
On this, I've heard nothing from anybody, pro or con, verifying or debunking. I've heard nothing on this. I don't know at all if this is going to be true. No idea. I simply don't. It might be, it might not be. For the sake of discussion, let's assume for a moment that it's true. And Kumail Nanjiani is going to be Booster Gold. Very well may not be, but just for the discussion. I have a couple of thoughts on this. Positive and negative. Let me start with the positive. First of all, Kumail Nanjiani is the main creative force behind and the star of one of my absolute favorite movies of the last 10 years, called The Big Sick. If any of you have not seen The Big Sick, what are you doing? Schedule some time in the next couple of days to set aside time to sit down and watch The Big Sick.
With someone you love.
With someone you love, whether it's a close, tight friend, family member, a romantic involvement, whatever. It is hilarious and deeply moving and powerful. And I just think it's one of the better films made in the last 10 years. And he's got Holly Hunter in it. It's got Ray Romano in it. It's just a great cast. It's a fabulous movie, and Kumail Nanjiani is the main guy behind it. And it's absolutely fabulous. You got to go check it out. Anyway, so I love Kumail Nanjiani, and his stand-up is great. I just watched him again the other night at the late night host who wrote for The Simpsons.
Oh boy,
redhead, the ginger.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, Conan O'Brien getting the Mark Twain Award. I don't know if you guys watched that, but Kumail Nanjiani was one of the guys.
Oh, I didn't know. I love those. Those are great award
and
shows.
And Nanjiani killed it. Like, he was hilarious. But here's the thing about this. If you know the Booster Gold character, personality-wise, Nanjiani is not just a good pick. He's the pick. Like, again, if we're just talking personality-wise, I cannot think of somebody who could manifest that and bring that character to life as good as Kumail Nanjiani. I'm sure there are others. I'm just saying off the top of my head, like, if you're just looking at the personality, who can really bring to life that Booster Gold personality? Kumail Nanjiani's the guy. Sorry, he is. That's just it, period. End of sentence. He's the guy to do it. And I think he would do a fabulous job bringing that character to life. I also think he's a terrific performer. Again, go see The Big Sick. It'll blow you away. You'll become a Nanjiani fan if you're not already. And as far as ethnicity goes, I don't care. Booster Gold's ethnicity has never been an important part of the character.
And he's
so
from the future.
Yeah.
So it's, it's a different
so who
world.
knows? That's irrelevant. I feel neither pro nor con about anything regarding his ethnicity. Who cares? Here's my negative, though.
Uh-oh.
As much as I like Nanjiani, and I think as a performer, he's the guy who can really manifest that personality of Booster Gold and all that kind of stuff. He is about to turn 48 years old. And while that is still young in many respects in the Hollywood, absolutely it is. But for a brand new cinematic universe, who's somebody, you want to be playing this role potentially for years and years and years and years to come. Nanjiani's he's basically a bodybuilder at this point. He's in ridiculously good shape and all that kind of stuff. But as a guy who is going to be turning 48 here soon, and somebody in Lifestyle say he doesn't look 48. Yeah, but in 3 years, he may very well look 52 or 53, but that's kind of irrelevant. I'm talking about a guy who you can have playing this role. You don't necessarily need a Hugh Jackman who can play the role for 25 years, but maybe a guy who can play it for a dozen years, 13 years, whatever. This is not just the start of a new character. It's the very genesis of a brand new cinematic universe. And I'd like to think that you're going to be bringing in people. Now, granted, they want a Batman who's already older and has a son and has a child. Yeah. You start that one a little bit older. And hey, Booster Gold is supposed to be a washed up former athlete. But the reality is you can be a washed up former athlete at 34 or 35.
Yeah, I was going to say like mid to late 30s.
Yeah, NFL players are retiring at 33 for heaven's sakes. So again, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying that Kumail's age disqualifies him. I'm just saying for me and my sensibilities, if you're starting off something, I'm wanting somebody who is mid 30s at most. Just to give yourself a runway to really look, there's no guarantee anybody they cast is going to play the role for more than 3 or 4 years.
Right.
But you at least want to not disqualify the chance that this is a person who could play it 12 years, 14 years, 15 years. And at approaching 48 years old, and let's face it, by the time they shot something, he'd probably be shooting something at 50. I just think he's a little past that mark. That doesn't mean there's not a place for Kumail Nanjiani in the DCU. That doesn't mean there aren't characters he could play and play very well. I just think for somebody like Booster Gold, it may be a bit too late. Am I going to be mad if they announce tomorrow he's going to be playing it? Not at all. But if James Gunn were to give me a call and he said, what do you think about Kumail? I'd say, I think he's awesome. And what do you think of him as Booster Gold? Say, if you had asked me that in 2017, I would have said, do it. But I have concerns about it now at his age. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. What a great time to be a sports fan. Basketball playoffs are on. Hockey playoffs are on. It is the perfect time to jump into the action with PrizePicks, the easiest and most fun way to turn your sports knowledge into real winnings. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made really simple. Just pick more or less on a few player projections, like points, assists, goals, and you can win up to 2,000 times your money. For example, this week, I've got Jalen Brunson for more than 24.5 points, or Jason Tatum for more than 6.5 rebounds. I love how fast and easy it is to lock in a lineup in just under a minute. Plus, they've got a couple of weekly features, like, for example, Flex Friday. If your lineup doesn't win, you get your net losses back in promo funds. And every Tuesday, check out Taco Tuesday for discounted player projections up to 25% off. So download the app today and use the code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Anyway, I don't know, Rob, you hear about this. What would you think about the idea of Kumail Nanjiani playing Booster Gold on the good side and on the negative side?
Well, first of all, I love him as a performer. And like you said, the Big Sick is a great movie. And it really is a heartfelt, and it's based in in truth, and it really is a wonderful film. I think he's a wonderful performer. I wanted him to have more to do in Eternals. Actually, I mean, look at how we just saw the pictures, how great he looked in Eternals. So there's no doubt that he could play the character, like no doubt. I think you have a really good point, though, that look at Hemsworth playing Thor. We're next year. It's what, 15 years since he's played Thor, and
they could have done that if he started playing it at 45.
Right? No, they couldn't have. Could you imagine him, Thor pushing 60 and doing those workouts? But I think, look, I think in his case, in the case of the character of Booster Gold, like you said, they could age that character up because he's like a captain of industry. You know, he's a sponsored superhero.
Yeah,
and he might have been his sports career. He might have played football till 35 or something, and then he quit, went into business, and became this big braggadocious superhero with his android skeets, his android drone, you know. So it could happen. I mean, he obviously looks the part. It really depends on how they would translate the character into the universe, at least for me. And I think you have a good point. I mean, you might a more youthful mid-30s Booster Gold certainly could work, but they would have to explain the age, and in a way that might be beneficial to the character. I read the first issue of Booster Gold. By the way, I still think Booster Gold is one of the dumbest names in comic book history. I just want to go on record as saying that. But I did like the comic. I have the first issue, and I fall down, John, on the side of liking this idea, because I think he's perfect to play the character. And if you even wanted to up his Indian nature, like maybe like I would say that could benefit the character too, that he's from a very wealthy Indian family, and he's a global, not influencer, but a global businessman from the future that he's from. Although he is kind of a con artist too. So I think him playing the role, I just would love to see him do it. But I understand your doubts. But man, I think he would make a good, at least a wildly entertaining version of the character.
Yeah. I listen, again, that's why I wouldn't be mad tomorrow if they announced him. But I want to put this in context a little bit, okay? I can't remember how old David Cornsweet is. I believe he's in his early to mid 30s. So he's young. Isabella Marcet is hot girl.
He's 32.
He's 32. So perfect. Isabella Marcet is hot girl, very young, and she's kind of taken over the world right now. Brilliant casting. She can bleed for a long time. But when I look at the rest of James Gunn's DCU right now, Eddie Gathegi, who is amazing as Mr. Terrific, he's 46. John Cena, who is Peacemaker, is 48.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion, who is Guy Gardner, if I'm not mistaken, is 54. And I have no problem with any the guy who's playing our Green Lantern,
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler,
Jordan's older.
Who's playing Hal Jordan? He's 59. Now, as far as our core Justice League guys, well, the only core Justice League member we have right now is Superman, mid-30s is great. But I just feel like, okay, now if we're going to go and cast Booster Gold, are we going to get a guy who's 48 too? And like literally, we've got a very veteran team here. I think they need to start bringing in some younger blood in this.
I think it's a really, really good point. And I absolutely think that the Justice League should be around Superman's age. I've always, in my own mind as a comic reader, of course you have immortal characters and older characters and things like that, but I always kind of thought of the Justice League as being in the same high school graduating class.
Right.
You know, like even though they weren't, but they kind of were. And of course, you know, Wonder Woman being thousands of years old or whatever, but she's really like the same age as Superman. So the core team, like I'm looking forward to seeing a 32-year-old Batman.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need a 40 or 45-year-old. We don't need a Batman that's close to the Dark Knight. I want to see a young, virile, ass-kicking
but old
Batman.
enough to have a tween son.
Yeah. Like
I feel like he still also has to be believable that he's the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't
25-year-old person is not the world's greatest detective.
That's why I said I don't mind the idea of Batman being like late
you can
30s,
age-
young,
yeah, of course.
low 40s because of who they're saying Batman already is in this universe.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Batman is whoever you get to play him can evolve into the Dark Knight Returns kind of Batman.
Right, and the difference is that we know that superheroes have been around for a long time.
Yeah,
and
in this
so
world,
they're
yeah.
not. There's the Justice Society has probably been there, and so that's no problem. I mean, Batman could have been operational way before Superman was, and the world knows Batman. I mean, I think it'll all work out.
So look, now bottom line. I talked about why I would like the idea of Nanjiani's Booster Gold, why I wouldn't like the idea of Nanjiani's Booster Gold. Do I think this is going to be true? I don't. I mean, I get it. That picture of him at the Peacemaker season 2, where there's smoke, there's fire. I get that. And listen, I wouldn't doubt at all that Nanjiani is going to be in the DCU in some way. I just don't think he's going to be Booster Gold. I really don't. I know they've got an idea for Booster Gold, all that kind of stuff, but I just don't think he's going to be him. At the end of the day, Rob, do you think Nanjiani's going to be Booster Gold?
I think it's a possibility. I think it's probably lesser of a possibility that he's going to be Booster Gold than he is going to be Booster Gold. But I can see why that rumor has arisen.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Those whispers and rumors and reports of Kumail Nanjiani's Booster Gold have resurfaced again, a little bit louder than before. I think it could be good, but I also have some reasons why I don't think it should happen. I also don't think it will happen, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it's actually going to end up being true? And let's for a second assume that it is. Would you like the idea? If so, why? Would you not like the idea? If so, why? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.